Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to another video. Today, we will be taking a look at the ROM hack Pokemon Ultra Red. You know where in Pokemon Sun and Moon you have the Alola forms, and in Pokemon Sword and Shield you have the Galarian forms. Well, in this game, it's full of those things, where you take a normal Pokemon, put a different type and design on them, and boom, you've got something beautiful. For example, all of these starters have switched typing, therefore Squirtle is now a grass type, Charmander a water type, and Bulbasaur a fire type. And I absolutely love this game because it's just normal Fire Red, but everything has a different typing and a different design. And because I wanted to run through the game with a very cool team, I decided to go with the Generation 1 rival Blues team, which consists of Blastoise, Exeggutor, Pidgeot, Rhydon, Alakazam, and Arcanine. Every single one of these Pokemon looks super cool with their new typing and design, but you're going to have to find out later in the video what they all look like. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe because only 25% of my viewers are subscribed. What are you even doing if you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet? Also, can we smash 4,000 likes for Pokemon Ultra Red for being an amazing ROM hack? And now onto the word of our sponsors of this video, NordVPN. Have you ever just wanted to watch Pokemon Journeys on Netflix, but it isn't available in your country? Well, no problem, NordVPN has got your back. With just a few clicks, you can change your country and watch any show you want from any country in the world. NordVPN also protects you from data mining, so for example, you are looking for some Pokemon cards and all of a sudden your YouTube is full with these ads of Pokemon cards. Well, not with NordVPN. And we have a special deal for you where if you buy a 2-year plan, you get 4 additional months free. All you have to do is go to nordvpn.com/Zwiggojr and use the coupon code Zwiggojr at checkout. Definitely check out the links in the description if you want to learn more about them, and thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And with that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. Of course, we start off the game by naming ourselves Blue, and our rival is going to be Red because we will be switching out the roles here. We then pick our starter, and we're gonna go with the grass type Squirtle here, which is named Fertile, but we are going to be naming him Spinach because Spinach is the god of vegetables. Change my mind. We then have our first rival battle where we have to tackle Venusaur to death, and our green turtle has absolutely no chill. I think grind up Spinach just a little bit in the grass and find this beautiful looking Bagon, which is a normal flying type by the way. So for the lovers of Bagon, you can already get him on Route 1. We then go ahead and challenge our rival, and he actually has a beacon himself. Luckily though, it's only level 4 and we can tackle it twice to take it out, and then his Venusaur comes out once more. It is level 6, but my Squirtle takes no prisoners today, so we beat him up with 3 tackles. While I was in Viridian Forest, I ran into this Gligar, and don't tell me this thing doesn't look amazing. It is something that you would see in a museum. After making our way to Pewter City, it is time for us to challenge our first gym leader, Brock. The man leads off with a rock type Tyrogue, which we Razor Leaf to death in 1 hit. Icykun is his second Pokemon, which shares the same fate. Then his Masita comes out, and he sounds a bit Spanish, and he looks like a grandma. And since grandmas are pretty bulky, he does take 2 Razor Leafs, and last up is a Carbolt, which is also a one-shot with Razor Leaf. Easy first gym badge. I do like the look of Carbolt though. After the battle, our Squirtle evolves into a Wartortle, or should I say a Rooturtle. Then get our gym badge and move on to the next route where we can capture our second team member in Friggy. And of course, I'm not going to pass up on this opportunity to name him Fridge. We make our way through Mount Moon and go to Mistys Gym as our next destination. She starts off with a Fomal, which we of course one-shot with our Razor Leaf. Next up is Syrinx, which is probably the worst mermaid you're ever gonna see in your life. I mean, if this thing can lure you in while you're a captain, you've gotta be drunk. I thought that this thing wouldn't go down with a single Razor Leaf, so I just put a few sleep powders on it until it eventually didn't wake up anymore. But it turned out that my Razor Leaf was actually enough to kill it from full health. Next up is a Tartler, which I think is a poison water type because a Razor Leaf was not super effective on him, and he's got the purple vibe going on. So after hitting him 3 times, he eventually went down, and last up is a water type Gulpin, which we also Razor Leaf to death. So that was the second gym badge. I think you've seen enough of a Wartortle right now, so let's switch over to Friggy and try the next rival battle with him. He starts off with an Eggon, but our Icy Wind is enough to one-shot it from full health after of course missing one. Next up is Bulbasaur, but I do have Brave Bird, which I got from one of the move tutors, so we one-shot him as well. Precuna is up next, which is a rock poison type, so we one-shot him with Icy Wind as well, and last up is an Ice-type Magnemite, which goes down to a Brave Bird. And with that rival battle out of the way, it is time to capture our third team member, Swarmute, which is a Bug-type version of Execute. Of course, now we do the same as in normal Fire Red, we go ahead and save Bill. We then travel to the SS and beat up all of the sailors, and my fridge evolved into a Frigiado. Of course, everyone is familiar with the rival fight on the SS Anne as well, so let's just jump right into that one as well. Swarmute can actually take care of his first two Pokemon, Egon and Embersaur, very quickly with a bunch of Hyper Voices, but Embersaur was able to do a bunch of damage with a single Ember though, but luckily he used Iron Defense a bunch more. Next up is Spikeoon, which is a Rock Steel type, so I decided to switch in Spinach once again and try to hit it with a lot of Razor Leaves, and eventually after hitting 4 of them, the Spikeoon finally went down. He's a pretty bulky boy. Now last up is a Ghost type Snorlax, which we put to sleep with Sleep Powder and then bite to death with 3 bites. That was the 4th rival fight out of the way. Time to head on to the hardest battle up until this point, Lieutenant Surge. The reason why this man was so hard was because of his Fire Electric type Zangoose, his Bug Electric type Linoon, and his Flying Electric Fearow. Zangoose has the ability Speed Boost, so after a turn he would outspeed all of my Pokemon, and once I got him down into red health, he would eat a berry that also ups its attack. And of course after that he would heal up as well, so he could sweep my entire team. And since the next Pokemon that will be available to me is Growlithe, down at the route before the Power Plant, I really have to do it with these 3, which are of course all weak to fire. But after grinding just a little bit, we can take on Lieutenant Surge at around level 32. With his first Pokemon being Elix, which is a water electric type and very cool looking, might I add. We are of course going to start off with our Spinach and kill it with a single Seed Bomb. Next is Linoon, so I switch into Swarmute and kill that thing with 2 Hyper Voices. I also learned Giga Drain, which I replaced Stun Spore for. His Blitzus came out, so I decided to stay in, hit 1 Hyper Voice before he took me down with 2 Fire Punches. Then I switch into Frigiot to take it out with a Brave Bird. He then switches in his Grass Electric type Vigoroth, which I take down with an Icy Wind. And then last up is his Fearold. I'm able to hit 1 more Ice Shard before going down. Then I switch in my Spinach, put him to sleep a bunch of times, and then keep on biting away because this thing just didn't want to go down. And then after using 10 bites on this stupid bird, I was finally able to take him down and claim my 3rd gym badge. So now that I can finally move on, I capture myself an Iolite, which is an electric type Growlithe. And after taking on a few more trainers, my Rootortle decided to evolve into Blastoise. We then move on to Lavender Town and go to the Pokemon Tower for another rival battle. And I know that he's going to lead off with Egon, so this is a perfect opportunity for Iolite to get some experience. Even though I'm 6 levels below him, I can still take him out with 3 Sparks after he spammed Protect. Next up is Dusharp, and this thing is an absolute tank. Look at how good it tanks my Seed Bomb from Blastoise. It actually takes 2, even though we're 9 levels above it. Bristol is also a 2-shot with Seed Bomb. Then Scariados came out, and for some reason I didn't switch, so I just kept on going for Seed Bomb, and 3 of those took him down as well. And last but not least was Embersaur, so I switched into my Pidgeot, went for the Ice Beam because I thought that it was Ground type and Fire type, but that wasn't the case, so I then went for Air Cutter to finish it off and win this battle. Next up is Erica, which is of course the Grass type gym leader, but I have Frigiado on the team, which is going to absolutely shut down her entire team. Air Cutter takes care of her first Pokemon Fernamoth with an easy one-shot. Gladesire only takes 1 Ice Beam. Marsh Swine is actually a Water Grass type, so I go for Ice Beam, decide that it doesn't do enough damage, then go for the Air Cutter and take it out. Next is Chorus, and he can already see what's coming his way, of course, an Ice Beam, look at his face. And last up is Royaltus, a Grass type version of my Lodic, which we take down with 2 Ice Beams because he tanked the first one, and then next time we got a high roll. So after acquiring this gym match, it's time to head on to the Team Rocket hideout under the game corner to take on Don Giovanni. And his first Pokemon is a Lasmella, which is an electric type, not a fire type, apparently. So I lead off with Smarmute and kill it with a couple of Hyper Voices while also getting paralyzed in the process. Next up is a Sevirm, which is a ground type combined with, I think, poison, but I might be wrong. And he takes care of my Swarmute, so I go into Blastoise and kill it with Seed Bomb. He then sends out the biggest abomination that you have ever seen in your life, Yeah, good luck sleeping tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He then decides to transform into my Blastoise, but luckily I can put it to sleep, hit him with a bite, and then switch into Frigiato to Ice Beam him twice and finish him off. His last Pokemon is Drilldrio, which is a Steel Ground type, so my Pidgeot takes care of it with a single Ice Beam. Critical hit. After that, our Swarmute evolves into an Executionist, which is now a Bug Grass type. We then get the Sylph Scope, go to the Pokemon Tower to get ourselves a new team member in Kadabra, which is now a physical attacker and not a special attacker like normal Kadabra. After getting him, I go straight to the Safari Zone to capture another team member in Dracohorn, which is a dragon type Rhyhorn, so he will be very useful. And before we go ahead and take on Koga, my Kadabra evolved into a Shinigazam, Iolithe evolved into an Io9, and then I went ahead and challenged Koga. And Koga's battle is a double battle. As it leads off with Nixiora and Mediclops, I lead off with my Alakazam and Arcanine. I go ahead and Volt Tackle the Altaria. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna call all of these Pokemon by their new names because I can't remember, because my brain is so small, but that was a one-shot, and my Alakazam went for the Night Slash on the Mediclops to chip away about half of his health. He sends out the Taintuck, so I go for the Volt Tackle, but it doesn't even take it out, and the Night Slash also doesn't take down Mediclops. Next turn we do take down the Golduck. He then sends out a Plagron and heals up his Mediclops. So I decide to double up on Plagron, and luckily the Volt Tackle and Night Slash combo is enough to take him down. Next up is one of the coolest Pokemon, Glimpale, but I decide to double up on Mediclops and it yet again does not take him down, and my Alakazam is going down here. So I switch in Fridge and then they Acid Spray my Ionine to take him down as well. I send out Executionist, he heals up his Mediclops, and I go for the Hyper Voice Ice Beam combo to almost take down the Gliscor, but luckily next turn one more Ice Beam finishes it off. Then his last Pokemon is Nefario, which I go ahead and Ice Beam and Hyper Voice a couple of times until he eventually goes down. Mediclops is the last Pokemon standing, but another Ice Beam gives us our 5th gym badge. Now it's time for us to head on to Silphco and do another rival battle. He starts off with Gyarados this time, but I lead off with Draghorn. I'm able to do a little bit of chip damage with Dragon Tail before he eventually takes me out, so I then go into Blastoise, go for the Drain Punch, and finish it off in one hit. Next up is Stalacton, which I Drain Punch as well. Then Chernobyl came out, which is kind of a controversial name, but I decided to stay in and just Drain Punch it 4 times in order to take it out as well. Then Talomance came out, which is just a little bit of a weird looking Salamence, so I go into my Frigiato and Ice Beam it once to take it out. Volcasaur was next, so I stay in, go for the Air Slash, get a critical hit and the flinch, so then next turn I can finish it off with the Priority Ice Shard. After that battle, I decided to go back and take on a few more trainers so that my Draghorn evolved into Dragdon. At the top of the building, it is time for us to take on Giovanni once again, and he starts off with Leviatops, which at this point is a Dragon Water type. I did not know this, so I decided to switch out my Dragdon into my Arcanine, and I decided to Thunderfang it twice in order to take it out, even though it did set up a Dragon Dance, which was pretty scary. Next up was Severin once again, so I went into my Blastoise and Seed Bombed it 3 times because it decided to heal up twice in order to finally finish it off. Then Malvinus came out, and I still don't really know what typing it is, but I think it's Grass Poison, so I switch into my Fridge, go for Ice Beam, which does one-shot it. Next is Last Plug, so I decide to stay in, go for the Ice Beam, which doesn't really do enough damage, so I switch into my Alakazam and take it out with Night Slash, and then his final Pokemon is of course the Abomination, that is Castform. So I just stay in, go for the Night Slash 3 times, and that is enough to finish it off. Last up is Drilldrio. I am able to get in 3 Night Slashes before I sadly go down to a Metal Claw, so I switch in Dragdon, go for the Dig twice, and finish off Giovanni. So after saving Silphco, it is time for us to head on to Sabrina with her Psychic types. And her first Pokemon is a Cloysta. So I try to go for the Bite with Dragdon, but we get obliterated by a Moonblast. So I switch in Shinigazam, and then I go for the Night Slash 3 times on the Cloysta to take it out, since Sabrina decided to heal it up. Houndunami is up next, which is a Water Psychic type, so I go for Night Slash, which one-shots. Then Zenchempa comes out, and he is a 2-shot with Night Slash because he just wasted his turn by going for Bulk Up. Sparkery is up next, which is an electric psychic type, so another one shot with Night Slash. Then Solnova comes out, which is a steel psychic type, so that takes 2 Night Slashes. And last up is the psychic type version of Swallow, which goes down to 1 Night Slash. With that out of the way, we can head on to Mr. Bald himself, the 7th gym leader, Blaine. He starts off with Explobat, which actually looks very cool in my opinion, but my Dragdon can take that thing out with 3 Dragon Tails. Next up is Samurant, and I'm able to hit one more Dragon Tail with a Dig before he does take out Dragdon. So I decide to go into Exegunest and go for the Bug Buzz with 2 Hyper Voices to finally take him down. Fortor is up next, and he has a Rock Fire type, so a Stone Edge absolutely obliterates my Exeggutor. So I think go into my Alakazam, go for the Night Slash, but he decides to go for Explode. So after he goes boom, my Alakazam just about hangs on with a sliver of health, as he sends out Necrotomic, which is a Ghost Fire type. I'm able to hit one more Night Slash before a Wild Charge of that thing takes me down. So then I switch in Ionine and I start biting away at it, and in the end he decides to heal up. So I have to bite even more to take it down eventually, but he went for a Wild Charge in the end, which took me down as well as himself. I send out my Fridge and he sends out his Stumplaze. Luckily this thing is fighting type, so my Brave Bird is able to one-shot it, and last but not least is his Octillery. I am able to hit one Brave Bird before an Overheat takes me out, so I go into Blastoise as my last hope, put it to sleep with Spore and Drain Punch away at it until it dies. And after the battle, my Frigiato finally evolved into Frigiata, which just looks so amazing. So with that, we can now head on to the 8th gym with Giovanni and his ground types, which is another double battle. He leads off with a Kingler and a Medicham, while I lead off with Rhydon and Alakazam. I am able to get one Surf off, but Alakazam immediately goes down from an Earthquake of that Kingler. I then switch in Blastoise, but the turn after that, my Rhydon also gets taken out, so I have to switch in Frigate. So I went for the Seed Bomb and Ice Beam to take both of his Pokemon down, and the next two were a Cradily and a Gallade. And the Cradily's mouth actually looks like an excavator, which I think is very, very cool. I then go for the Seed Bomb, Ice Beam combo once again to take down both of his Pokemon, and last up is a Survivor and his Drilldrio. I go for an Ice Beam on the Survivor to take it out, and my Seed Bomb barely does anything to Drilldrio, but he goes for the Curse, and next turn I can take him down with one more Ice Beam and get my 8th gym badge. But before we can go to the Pokemon League, it is of course time for the final rival battle. So let's see what team he's rocking right now. He starts off with a Teleman, so I immediately switch out my Dragdon to my Pidgeot to take him down with an Ice Beam while getting hit with a Return, but it doesn't seem like he really loves his Salamence because the Return barely did anything. Next up is Sandleech, which just looks very disturbing, and I go for the Ice Beam. It's super effective, so I'm guessing it's a Dragon type. After taking it down in one hit, he sends out his Bristol. I go for the Ice Beam once more, but it isn't quite enough to take it down, so Stone Edge finishes off my Frigate. I go into Ionine, go for the Extreme Speed to try and finish him off, but he heals up, and I also get poisoned, but my Volt Tackle next turn is enough to go ahead and take him down. Next up is Volcasaur, and I go for the Extreme Speed with my Arcanine, but he goes for Earth Power because he is now a ground type as well, and Arcanine goes down. I then go into Dragdon to try and go for the Surf, and I get one off, but it doesn't really do a lot of damage despite it being 4 times super effective. So he then switches into his Ice type Magnezone. I do hit an Earthquake before switching out into my Exeggutor. I get off one Bug Buzz, but then he also goes down to an Ice type move, of course, because that's super effective on me. I then switch in Alakazam, and of course he heals up, but my Night Slash actually is a critical hit, taking him down from full health. Then he decides to send out Gyarados, so I stay in once again, and my Alakazam is able to bring him down into red health with a Night Slash and a Fury Cutter before he sadly does take me out. I then switch in Dragdon and finish off this Gyarados with Surf, and finally is Volcasaur. He decides to go for the Eruption, which barely does anything, so my Earthquake finishes it off, and with that we now have defeated our rival and can head on to the Elite Four's first member, Lorelei. And this is a double battle. And it wasn't really that easy to do, as she starts off with an Ice-type Probopass and Torkoal. I lead off with Spinach and Alakazam. I go for the Spore on the Probopass to put it to sleep, and the Torkoal decides to protect itself. Next turn, I go for the Night Slash Seed Bomb combo to take the Torkoal out. Next up is the Ice-type Golem, which I also put to sleep with Spore and hit with a Night Slash. Then next turn, I go for the Night Slash Seed Bomb combo to take that out because it's Water-Ice type. Next up is Blizz Maiden, and this thing totally destroys me because our Blizzard froze both of my Pokemon, so eventually we do all go down. I send in Exeggutor, he also gets frozen and taken down as well. So I then switch in Dragdon and Fridge to take down the Mismagius with a single Brave Bird, and Dragdon can go for an Earthquake as well, which does a decent amount of damage on Maractus and Probopass. Then next turn I go for a Brave Bird on Maractus, but my Pidgeot ultimately goes down as I hit another Earthquake, taking down Maractus and Probopass. Last up is Cool Caddy, and as my Earthquake takes down my own Arcanine, I eventually also take down the Delcatty after it spammed a bunch of full restores because it just didn't want to go down. So that takes care of Lorelei. Time to head on to the second Elite Four member, Bruno. Bruno starts off with a Swashbull, so I go for the Spore with my Blastoise and then take him down with 2 Seed Bombs because it's a water type. Next up is Fur Arm, so I put it to sleep with Blastoise and switch into Fridge to take it down with a Brave Bird. Next up is Kunai-Ville, so I switch in Exeggutor to take the hits because he can go down in this fight. He really isn't that important. After going down, I switch in Dragdon because this thing is Steel type and I tried to go for the Earthquake, but a critical high jump kick gets the better of me. I then switch in Spinach, go for the Spore, and go for the Drain Punch after that to take hit down. Next is Boxy King, so I stay in and go for the Spore while getting hit with a Mega Horn. I then hit 2 Seed Bombs, he goes for the full restore, I hit 1 more Seed Bomb and another Mega Horn takes down my Blastoise, so I have to switch in Ionine and I go for the Volt Tackle, taking down the Boxy King. Then the Fighting type evolution of Eevee Senseion comes out. I go for the Volt Tackle and luckily that does take it out in 2 hits. Last up is Banatir. I'm able to hit 1 more Volt Tackle before it takes me down with Aura Sphere. So I switch in Fridge to finish this battle off with 1 more Ice Beam. And now it's time to head on to Agatha. Agatha starts off with Zotem, so I lead off with my Blastoise once again, go for the Spore and then switch out into Alakazam. Next turn I go for the Night Slash, which is enough to one-shot from full health. Next is Claypour, and I go for the Night Slash once again, taking him down into red health. He misses his move and uses a full restore next turn as I go for another Night Slash, but this time I get a critical hit, taking him down. Then Snorrist comes out. I go for the Night Slash once again, almost taking him down. He goes for the Leech Life, getting some HP back, but it isn't enough because another Night Slash finishes off this stupid Snorlax. Next is Nobodinja. I go for the Night Slash once more, but it only does about half of its HP as it takes me down with a Moonblast. So I go into Fridge, go for the Ice Beam, get a critical hit, and take this thing down. Then her Belly Storm comes out, who is able to do a bunch of damage with a Hurricane on my Pidgeot, but 2 Ice Beams do get the better of it, taking it down. And last but not least is Hypnoplasm. Sadly enough, my Pidgeot isn't able to hit another move because I got paralyzed too many times and it took me down with some Terror Waves. I then switch in Dragdon and finish this battle off with 2 more Earthquakes because that Hypnoplasm is a poison type. Time to head on to the final Elite Four member, Lance, the Dragon Master, and this is another double battle, sadly enough. I'm not really a big fan of double battles, not gonna lie. Lance's starting Pokemon are a Flarados and a Dracperior. I lead off with Alakazam and Fridge, go for the Ice Beam on Dracperior to finish it off in 1 hit, and Night Slash the Gyarados to do about half of his health. Next he sends out a Forest Star, so I go for Night Slash on the Gyarados to take it out in 1 hit, and Ice Beam the Forest Star to also take it down in a single shot. After that, my Alakazam goes down to the burn and they send out Thundurius and Weveldo. So I decide to send out Spinach and go for Ice Beam on the Weveldo to of course take it down in 1 hit. This Pidgeot is too Great. The next Pokemon he brings out is Leviatop, so I go for the Spore right away on it. I then do so much shenanigans that I can't even keep up with what I'm doing anymore because I'm using Fly on the Kabutops for some reason. The Tropius doesn't want to go down because it decided to set up Amnesias, and I am splitting my attacks while I should be focusing on one Pokemon. My brain just farted here. I didn't know what I was doing anymore, as I kept putting both of his Pokemon to sleep, and eventually my fridge even went down because I just didn't know what was going on anymore. But luckily my Seed Bomb from my Blastoise did finish off the Leviatops. Then brought out Exeggutor, and this Thundurius just did not want to die. It did not want to go down. I kept hitting it with Bug Buzzes, sporing it, hitting it with that juicy old Drain Punch and Seed Bomb. None of it brought it down. And once he got down into red health, he would just use a full restore to stall me out even more. Luckily though, I did use my big brain and used a Leech Seed on him so that eventually he would just take down himself if all of my PP was gone. And it went so far that my Seed Bomb even ran out, so I had to go for Cut with Blastoise, but that was eventually the move that killed him together with the Leech Seed. So with that long lance fight out of the way, it is time for the final battle against the champion, and this is not a double battle, so I am pretty happy about it. The man leads off with a Dusharp and I lead off with Dragdon, but sadly enough I didn't have any ethers left, so I could not replenish my PP for Earthquake, and I had to go for the Meteor Mashes on him. So I just kept on Meteor Mashing away until he finally switched into another Pokemon, the Ice-type Magnezone. And that thing absolutely obliterated me with Ice Beam. I then just decided to go into Ionine, go for the Volt Tackle, which was enough to take it out because it was super effective apparently. Then Telemans came out. I tried to go for the Volt Tackle, but I missed, and a single Earthquake, and my Ionine is totally out of here. So I of course go into Fridge, go for the Ice Beam, which does one-shot the Talomans. Then Eldragon came out, which is a pretty damn weird looking Pokemon once again, but he is a dragon type, so 2 Ice Beams can take him down. He then goes into his Vulcasaur, and I switch in Exeggutor, and I get totally obliterated by Eruption. So I decide to go into Shinigazam, and 3 Night Slashes is actually enough to take down Vulcasaur, because he kept going for Eruption, which always did go down in damage perspective, because he kept losing health. Scariados then came out. I was able to hit 1 more Night Slash before going down. I switch into Fridge, go for the Brave Bird, which does finish it off, and last but not least is Dusharp again, which we go ahead and kill with an Ice Beam, and with that we have completed the Pokemon Alta Red ROM hack with a very cool team. I really enjoyed using this team. If you play this ROM hack yourself, you are going to see so many amazing Pokemon that you can use. Most of them have altered stats and movesets, which just makes it so much better. This is definitely top 5 ROM hacks that I've played in my whole career. So I highly recommend checking this game out. I sadly enough can't put it in the description anymore because apparently I can get sued if I put ROM hacks in the descriptions of my videos. But if you just look up Pokemon Alta Red download, you should have it by the first link that you can click. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this game. Let me know if you're going to play it or not. I think the next ROM hack that I will play is probably going to be Pokemon Unbound, because you guys have been spamming that game on every single video. With that out of the way, I of course want to thank the membership and Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. If you want to do so yourself, you can do so by clicking the link in the description. Merch is also still available if you're interested in that. And with that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm zwiggojr, and I'll see you guys next time.